I'm Stimming, and in this video I show you the new Wavetable synthesizer from Waldorf, the M. As you see, it's quite a big, heavy, metal-built machine. I think about like 3 kilos. It's a wavetable synthesizer. That means instead of just having one waveform, it has like a table where you can switch between waveforms inside an oscillator. It's an 8-voice hybrid synth. Hybrid in a sense that the wavetable and oscillator section and also the LFOs and envelopes are digital. And all of this goes into a voltage-controlled filter and a voltage-controlled amp. And it has 8 voices. So it looks heavy and it sounds heavy. It's quite a massive device. And it's a little bit like a rebirth of the old and mighty Waldorf Microwave and Microwave 2/XT. Yeah, let's switch it on. Ta-da! Here we are. Okay, each voice has a 2 oscillator section, 2 oscillators with 2 wavetables, detune, octave, semitone, an envelope knob. All the black knobs are push knobs that kind of jump back to the initial position. The very beautiful wavetable outer ring and the inner red knob that leads you exactly to where the magic from the synth happens. The magic is switching in between the wavetable, switching through the waves in between the wavetable. Then 2 LFOs, 3 envelopes, and this is the only section where the Waldorf design principle of having some kind of matrix design unfortunately takes place because you have to switch in between them. The first wave envelope has 8 sections, and that's why it's a 2-row. You have to use 2 rows to kind of control it. A free envelope, and this one combines the filter envelope and the amp envelope. Then the silver knob is the cutoff, very obvious as well, with dedicated knobs for resonance, envelope, velocity, and key track, which is very, very comfortable. VCA knobs for the envelope amount. Actually, I don't get it completely why I need a special envelope amount for the VCA velocity, which is very nice. A dedicated glide knob, master volume, and then the kind of the brain part of the whole synth where you can switch in between the different sections. And to go a little bit more into detail, those 4 gray fields controlled with those 4 encoders. Unfortunately, they don't fit like completely. It's a bit, that's a bit, I don't know, why didn't you use a little bit of a bigger screen so it fits a bit better? And yeah, 2 knobs one for switching in between the more detailed options in every section up here, the different envelopes and oscillator wave, mix, VCF, VCA, ARP, and Arpeggiator. I forgot in the beginning. 2 LFOs, which are quite slow, unfortunately. And then this knob for switching presets. And also, if you push the button, you switch to the multitimbral mode, which means those 8 voices can be controlled independently in 4 parts. So either you stack 4 different sounds onto each other, or you can control each part with a different MIDI channel. So that makes basically 4 synths, but of course they all have to share the 8 voices. Imagine a bass line with one voice and 2 leads with a voice each, and then you still have 5 voices left for a pad or something. So that's quite powerful. Let me show you the multi-timbral mode just to get this out of the way. Press Shift and Map, and there you can see this one is a super stack. How does it sound? Oh, it's only on the left. Ah, yeah, that's the crib side. Here. And because I'm mini channel 1, part A, so this is the stack, and you can do whatever you want. In here, I switch back to the single mode because we want to talk about the sounds. Okay, I have to cancel first. No, we're in the single mode. The preset loading and the difference between the single and the multi-mode in switching with just the push of that button is a bit weird, and it's not obvious in my opinion, because for example, if I want to hear the Zen bass and I thought, okay, if I want to load it, I press the button, and I needed a couple of hours to kind of get out of the natural behavior, which I would expect. What you have to do is you have to press recall. Of course, if you want to load a preset, you press recall, and then it's basically loaded. And it takes a bit of time. You see, if I switch in between the presets, flywheel, Ganymede, let's see how Ganymede sounds. Okay. Off. If you switch them slowly, it's no problem. But if you want to be faster, then it's the CPU isn't fast enough to kind of follow your movement here. There are a couple of options where this happens, and it's a bit annoying actually. But I come back to the DSP later. I think before I talk anymore, I'll just play some sounds. So in the presets, or the amount of sounds that can be saved, is 16 bangs with 128 sounds. That's quite a lot. And the first 8 are pre-programmed, and then the second 8 are initial sounds, so they're all empty. Let's recall here, and I have the number 3. That's the init sound. I can also init with shift and init. You see, bloop. And this is how it sounds purely without anything. The very much default sound. Let's make it a bit longer. Okay, let's move the red knobs. Okay, I switch off the second oscillator. We just work with oscillator 1 for now. In the wave. This is the wavetable number 1, wave 0 and phase 1. You can let the phase free run. You can allow the phase to free run. You know what I mean? So, but I think in general it's key track, envelope mod. It is link mod. I don't know, actually. I don't know. I think it's in the oscillator section. Anyway, so. There's one speciality, or I don't know, I don't even know if it's a speciality, but the first 40, 50 waves have the standard waves at the very end. You see wave number 60, and then it becomes a triangle. A square, and the saw. Yeah, so that's the classic saw from any analog synth out there. It's okay, in my opinion, but the real fun begins if the how's it called? Timbre, all the different timbres from the Oh, our English, I'm sorry. The potatoes. The potatoes again. Oh. Okay, still one oscillator. I switched through the wave tables. So wavetable number 2 is called resonant 2 low pass, with the 3 standard waveforms at the end. Number 3, a mallet synth. The envelope amount is connected with a wave envelope. By the way, for all of you who are missing some type of a mod matrix, a modulation matrix, or the possibility to modulate anything at all, there's pre-configured combinations and connections which you have to reach inside the submenu here on the screen. There's no way of, for example, using a different envelope than the wave envelope. You can use all the other ones, but you have to go inside the menu, and so that's the normal envelope, the wave envelope, with different parameters, 8 parameters, and there are 2 mod sources. Everywhere where you can choose a mod source for the envelope of the wavetable, for the filter, for the amp, the LFO1 and 2, the amp envelope filter, there are quite a lot sources, even a random source. But you always have to go into this menu. There's no matrix where you can have like a quick overview, or even better, if you, I could imagine, for example, I don't know, pressing shape and then like touching this knob and then it's being connected or something. It's quite an old school way of applying a modulation to a parameter. Anyway, it works, but it's a bit weird, to be honest. So if I want to connect the LFO1 to the wave inside the wavetable, I have to go in here. Then the mod 1 control can be the mod wheel, or a random control, which is nice, a coin flip, which is nice as well. If you just want to apply the LFO1 to this parameter, you have to go to the max control, and then here is the modulation amount. And it sounds like this. Let's go to the LFO, because the LFO here, they are very, very simple. They are not very, very slow. That's the slowest, 0.12 Hertz. Could be slower, and the fastest is 15.4 Hertz. That's not fast, not really fast. Also, the shapes, it's sine, triangle, pulse, random, and sample and hold. That's it. I'm missing a saw wave, most definitely, that one and that one. And yeah, so please, developers, in the next version, implement the saw wave in the LFO waveform section, because I'm really missing it. Anyway, let's use the sine wave here. Oh, it has a humanized function. Let's see. Okay. Because it has real 8 voices, each voice has a dedicated LFO, which with very slow times can make something very beautiful. You see how it all like flimmers together? Then I apply a little bit of panning to the amp section. Pan mods, LFO1. Here I'm going to use a random source. I put a little bit of reverb on this, okay? Okay, so that was level 1 controlling the wave inside the wavetable of oscillator 1, and it was only oscillator 1. Then, in general, the synth has, I said in the beginning, it's a reincarnation of the microwave and microwave 2/XT. In general, I never really had a wavetable synth, and since I got used to this one, I have it for 2 weeks about. Since then, since I have this, I know why I never had one before, because none of them sounded so good as this device. So I will compare, like, just going through a wavetable with the pigments as software here, so you hear the difference, but I come to that later. There's 2 modes for calculating, for the DSP to calculate the waveform, and you can switch it on the mode page in between them. Microwave 1 is a reminiscence to the first one, and microwave 2, it's obvious. So from my experience, the microwave 2 is a bit more round and a bit more mild, but here the ring mod is active, while in the first mode it isn't. What does that mean? Mode 1, mode 2. So here there's a little bit of very high frequencies missing in my mode 1, mode 2. Yeah, it's a bit more round, a bit more mild, but if I apply the ring mod and detune oscillator 2, even if we don't use oscillator 2, that was mode 2. So mode 1. Another thing that is important when using the synthesizer, on the mix page, there's this line which says overdrive. It's a bit like, let's say, at 1:30 p.m. And what happens is, it can be quite loud. The output can be quite loud. It's close to distortion, actually, if I use the second oscillator as well. Yeah. There was a bug in the very first microwave, and they implemented that bug as well. It's called the ASIC bug. And when this one is active, in the distorted part of a sound, it can be even harsher than before. So I switch it off. Yeah. It's close to aggressive. It's like yeah. So it does something to me emotionally. The synth does something to me. Okay, I go on. I switch off the acid bug. ASIC. Anyway, let's go back to the middle. Okay, just one oscillator. Let's hear a couple of more wavetables. I want to switch off the modulation. That always means I have to go back here. So I can push this button to jump to 0 either. I also want to switch off the pan mode. But I could also have switched to the minimum mod 1 control. That really is a bit weird. Honestly, it's a bit weird. I mean, I get it. You can use the pressure to control the modulation depth, but I don't know. Okay, let's hear through different waves. Wave 1. Wait, yeah, okay. High harm. Whoa. Switch off the reverb. Zero. Oh. I just jump a little bit to the back. In this waveform and in a couple of others, I recognize that there is no interpolation in between the different waves inside the wavetable. So in some wavetables, you hear very clear jumps in between the different waves inside the table. And I remember the Hydra synth. The idea of the Hydra synth is that it interpolates in between different waves. So it's a much more rounded and I would say a plastic sound in the Hydra synth. And the reason why they didn't interpolate is, I imagine, that you lose a lot of punch. There's something very, very stable in here, and I could imagine that once you interpolate in between, even as a, you might lose this punch, but having it as an option would be nice. Yeah, definitely. You hear that? It's a clear jump, yeah? But there are waveforms where we don't recognize that. For example, here. Okay, let's go to the envelope with the different 8-stage, 8-time envelope, which is reached by this knob. It's a general envelope. Wow, lady. Hello, power 1, 2, 3. Here, finally, the screen has a visualization of what's actually happening. I missed that a bit on the wavetables because it's different to remember which wavetable sounded the way it did. Oh, my Schosswein. So what I really, really like about the synth, if you go down in octaves, there is some type of aliasing or some digital noise around it, but it always sounds stable. Like the synth never loses its body, and this is very valuable, I suppose. I think, I believe. Okay, so the different stage envelopes. Finally, there is some visualization. And It has 8 stages. I'm gonna stop at 3. Yeah, because I can loop this one, and I want the loop start at 1, and I want the envelope to stop at 3, and then let's see what happens. At 3, did I say? Yeah. Hello. Hey. Okay, I apply the same envelope to the filter, include oscillator 2, and will apply this envelope in the minus area, so it goes the opposite direction. First the second oscillator. That's the second one. And then what does the envelope do? Nothing, because I'm at 0. Let's see. Okay, let me apply this quickly to the filter as well. Amp envelope. Oh, I don't like the resonance too much. I'm not really using it in this synth, just to get this out of the way. Okay. Do we get this into a timing? Okay, so I have this little groove here. Faster, 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 faster. Yeah. Where's the sound? Ah, there it is. Okay, so there's one weakness in the modulation. Yes, the LFOs aren't fast enough, but the different stage envelope is very, very fast. But because it's all digital, I don't know, the modulation gets to its limits in the very, very fast movement, as you've heard. So when I had the synth in my home, in the beginning I was a bit like, I'm not sure if I really, really like it. So for example, if I just I'm in the wrong mode. Yeah, okay. Courthouse. Okay, insurance. Ooh. Vibraphone. Sounds very 80s. As well, Sippy Sync. Haarweiler Glide. Oh. But over time, I like the machine more and more. It's, I don't know, there's something very, very, very magic about it. Let me show you some presets that I collected from the ones before and some that I programmed by myself. This one is by myself. Oh. I want to hear some. Another one that I made uses the envelope, the wave envelope. And I mean, when I found out how beautiful the wave morph, the wave change, the timbre change is, as soon as it becomes like a rhythmic element, I was hooked. Yeah. And it works quite on very many wavetables. Yeah. Okay, let's go through the presets. A little bit of reverb. Next one. Yeah, so the waves from the PPG wave. I haven't talked about basses, did I? The roundness and warmth of an analog, of a real analog synth, isn't something that comes out of here. But there's something also on the bass section where somehow it's not as thick as a real Moog or my Swayman, but it. Let me show you. Because those timbres, those metallic ones, they really fit well to a bass. And then now imagine the wave envelope on those, and there you have very, very modern sounding basses. Let me see if I have one later on. Yeah, so distorted Moog. I said before, the thickness of a real Moog doesn't really come out of here. And yeah, it doesn't come out of here. Depressing. Oh. Falling pad. I like that. Power spot. micro lead. Ah, yeah. Let's use the glide here. Okay, one last one. Somebody power-based hydrogen. What does that mean? Oh. Some reverb. Okay. Okay, I think you saw enough. Shall I compare one waveform against the pigments? Should I? Yeah? Okay, so let me just quickly show you the difference between this hardware synth and some software. What I want to show is how the synth reacts when I compare against software. So I'm using pigments. Where do you see that? Do you see that here on that camera? So on C. And a switch on synth, yeah? Sorry. So I'm morphing through the waveform, and when I do it on the hardware, do you hear how much more information in the very, very high frequency is in the hardware? I was like, okay, yeah, I know why I never liked Wavetable before I got this one. Yeah, I haven't talked about the connections. I mean, you see it in the picture, right? It has auxiliary outputs, 4 of them, a main out volume for a dedicated volume knob for the headphone out, a USB connection with a MIDI slave, in lack of a better name, for USB, an SD card reader for waveforms, and system OS upgrades in 2-stage, which is, yeah. Okay, and then also it has the Arpeggiator, which we haven't talked about it yet. I think all the rest I got covered. Well, it's quite a simple Arpeggiator, but it has different patterns. That's basically it. Let me make it a 16th. Let me quickly go through. Okay. Oh, you see, the white is missing on the D. Okay, what else do we have? Different play directions, but very simple. Of course, the range, of course. Oh, 9 octaves. Okay, 9 octaves. I've never seen that before. So it's a rudimentary arpeggiator, but it does do its business. Yeah. Okay, conclusion. The OS and the DSP in here feels like from 15, 20 years ago in its speed and yeah, basically in its speed and the screen size really, what can I say? I mean, the screen costs probably €8 if they would have paid 13 and make it just a little bit bigger. I would have liked it, but in the end, the sound is important. And this is also the usability in here with the recall. And oh, by the way, if you change a sound and don't save it, and then, so if you tweak a sound, don't save it and change into another one, then it's gone forever. The system also, reason why I call it from 15 years ago, the system is only capable of remembering one sound. And also something which I hate about every synth. If I boot it, start it again, it always starts at 00001. And please, guys, I don't know. It's like really, we're in 21. I want to go on with where I've been before when I start the machine. So, yeah, so this is what I don't like. What I like is the sound, obviously, but also the way the knobs are. Everything feels very luxury, very, very a good reason to pay. I think it's €1,800 or something, because the important parameters are immediately there, and as soon as you tweak them, the machine becomes alive and gets it's magic. So I love the sound. I don't like the usability, and the DSP feels from 15 years ago. Yeah, quite impressive. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.